Hello and welcome everybody. Welcome to another Mollie Stone's virtual cheese event. I am your host, Chelsea Fordiani. I am the cheese manager at the Sausalito Mollie Stones, as well as a resident certified cheese professional. And today we are featuring Laura Chenel goat cheese. I'm very excited about this. It's perfect for spring. And today I have two lovely ladies with me, Maddy Coggins, who is the trade marketing associate, and Erin Selby, who is the sales support manager. Hi. I hope everybody can see it. Like, they're out there in Sonoma and it's a beautiful day, absolutely gorgeous. You can hear the birds chirping behind them. It's great.
Yes, we are so glad to be here with you today, Chelsea. Thanks for letting us join you. And yes, we're out here next to the vineyards in Sonoma here.
Oh gosh, it's
This
so
is
beautiful.
not a fake Zoom background. This is the real deal.
This
It's
is
the
where
real
the magic
deal.
happens for Laura Chenel.
Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, wonderful. Before we dive into this, just a few little notes here. If you have a question as we move along here, feel free to type it in the Q&A box. Please don't use the chat box because everything kind of gets thrown in there and people like to chat with each other, and that's totally cool if you want to say hi, if you want to just make a comment. But if you have a question that you would like to be answered while we're doing this, please just go ahead and type it in the Q&A. And then as we're going along, if something doesn't get answered or if something pops up in your head later on, you can always email me at chelsea@molliestones.com. That's CHELSEA @molliestones.com. And I think that's it. So here we are. We've got some beautiful cheeses to try today, and also the accompaniments that go with it. Hopefully you got the kit. And then also, because we wanted to do a dinner board with this, we did add some things to it. So we're going to go over what we added to our dinner boards as well. But please, I'm going to introduce Maddy and Erin. Please tell us what you are all about at Laura Chenel.
Absolutely. So, we're out here in beautiful Sonoma, and we have been, pretty much since our founding here in Sonoma County. Our founder, Laura Chenel, is from Sebastopol, California originally, so it's always been local. And she grew up there in the countryside and had goats at her parents' home. And her parents managed a restaurant, so she's always been pretty involved with chefs and a part of that community, which I'm sure you guys know is really close-knit here in California. After she finished school in Sebastopol, she decided she wanted to go study in Europe. And while she was there, she discovered this passion for goat cheese. Before Laura Chenel, most of the goats in the US were for showing and not for milk production. So she was one of the first people to really begin that entire industry here in California. And she started.
Yeah. I mean, back then in the 1970s, goat cheese was not on the consumer's radar nor on their palate. And I look at Laura Chenel as one of the true pioneers of making history and changing that. So we know goat cheese today. Look at our selection. We're just one of many goat cheese producers all over the country. But really, right here in Sonoma back in 1979, which is what, over 40 years of spreading her cheese love. Here we are, fast forward. Quite a nice success story.
Yeah, and she was so integral in helping to build that entirely new type of cheese here in the US. She actually even has an exhibit in the Smithsonian.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So if you're ever there, keep an eye out for the Laura Chenel section.
Oh, that's so cool. That's really cool.
And it's a full circle, and so wonderful to hear about how she started. I mean, yes, she started as a hobby, having some goats, and then that grew to being a goat herder, and then that grew to making cheese. Her family was in the restaurant business. And then she decided to do it right, and she went to Europe and studied with traditional French techniques and worked at a number of different creameries. And one of them was with a gentleman who happens to be today, 40 some years later, be our general manager, Philippe. So it's really full circle from her beginning to now.
Most definitely. That is totally full circle.
Yeah.
Yeah, Philippe's here today. He just finished up doing a week of farm tours. So he's been out with the goats, patting them, checking on them, making sure they're happy. And he brought back all kinds of cute goat pics. So keep an eye out for those.
Oh, nice. Awesome. Who doesn't love goat pictures? Who doesn't love goats? They're so fun. They
Happy
are.
goats.
Yeah.
But we want to also make sure we talk about the Chez Panisse. You want to go into that, Maddy? Because that is such a wonderful jump start of how she started and grew her business very quickly 40 some years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. So Laura got her start as a farmer's market cheese. So she was originally only doing a really small production. She was using milk from, a couple of her goats, and she'd gone out to her neighbors' goats as well. At that point in time, goats were really just for showing. They were kept as pets because they're cute and curious and interesting, but nobody was really doing anything with goat milk at that time. So there were goats here. They just weren't being used in that way. So
Right.
yeah, she helped to teach the local community, how to cultivate goats for milk production, and slowly grew her business at the farmers markets. And that was where she met Chef Alice Waters, who's from Chez Panisse in Berkeley. And they were both really pioneers of the farm to table movement, right? Laura Chenel was working directly with her farmers right here in Sonoma County. And that really resonated with Alice Waters. So she started buying her goat cheese little by little and placed an order for 50 pounds a week, which as a new business, that's a whole lot of goat cheese.
That is, yeah.
And the recipe today.
And we still use the recipe today. It's still delicious. So she had a beautiful bed of mesclun greens, which are kind of a leafy, spiky, local green. And then she would take slices of our goat cheese logs and gently bread them in an herb breading, and then lightly fry them until it was crispy, and the goat cheese gets just a little bit melty, and you have the crunch of the crisp and the crunch from the greens. We have the recipe on our website today. That's another great use of goat cheese for dinner.
It's just like a huge oozy crouton on top of your salad. Over the top good.
It's good for you, and it feels so good.
Yes, yeah, that's for sure. Yeah,
Making me hungry.
My first introduction into the food industry was through catering, and so I remember, Laura Chenel was, it was the goat cheese that you went to, the Chive that you went to when you were, doing anything with catering. I remember one of the first things I ever did was to roll little balls of Chive in crushed pistachios, and then put a little clove on top so it looked like a green apple. And you just we added it to a salad. It was like a little side, thing to a salad. It was just super cute. But yeah, but that's, again, it's, if you work in restaurant or catering, you're very, very familiar with Laura Chenel. I could be wrong, but I think it wasn't until recently where Laura Chenel really took off in retail, and it has become way more familiar to people, shopping at grocery stores and stuff like that.
Well, definitely she got her start in food service. So the original Chef Chive was named for that reason. And we're actually going to start with the retail version of that you sell at Mollie Stone's.
Yes.
And that's going to be one of the items in your kit. I'll just go over everything that everybody should have gotten in their kit. We've got 4 different cheeses we're going to try today. We have the Laura Chenel spreadable goat, the creamy Brie, the garlic and chive log, and the honey log. And then your accompaniments, we've got the rustic bakery olive oil and celery crackers, the Effie's oat cakes, which are fantastic, the Divina fig spread, Zoe's prosciutto, and some Spanish cocktail mix. And then you'll also see that we added on some extras too to make this a dinner board. So yeah, well, as we're trying these things, we'll go along and we'll introduce the things that we added to the boards.
Definitely. So we're going to kick off with our spreadable, and Erin was just starting to say, this is kind of it's a store level take on our most popular item for chefs. And really all of our products are inspired by chefs and ways to help out in the kitchen to make cooking with goat cheese easier and more fun and to elevate recipes, right? So this spreadable is a more moist version of, we call it Chef's Chive, which was one of Laura Chenel's first products more than 40 years ago. And the reason why our products are so popular with chefs is because it has a really clean taste. So it doesn't feel overly goaty. It's nice and mild and creamy. And it just has that little citrusy tang that is so interesting when you incorporate it into almost anything.
And, a lot of times we get asked or hear comments, oh, I don't like goat cheese. And my answer to that is give it another try with ours, because Laura Chenel is such a, like Maddy was saying, just sort of a clean, fresh taste that does not give you that goatiness. And my sense is that person who didn't like goat cheese probably didn't try ours. So we invite you, if you're one of them. Obviously, if you're on the call today, you like goat cheese. But if you know people, after you do the tasting today, say, yeah, it's like the kindergarten step to intro to goat cheese.
It is. It's very, again, it's very light and it's slightly tangy. It's not, people describe the flavor that they're adverse to as it's kind of barnyardy, that is not a fun way to describe the taste of cheese. But this does not have that barnyard flavor to it. Again, it's a bright citrusy flavor. The texture is fantastic. It's so fluffy and velvety. I love that. And I always say, because as a cheesemonger, yes, I do get that quite often. I don't like goat cheese. That's okay. But I always say, it's like not all goat cheeses are considered the same. And this goes back to, goat cheese, it was not on the American palate because we didn't have access to very good goat cheese for a very long time. So now that has changed. So yeah, I encourage people to go back out there and try it again, and especially with Laura Chenel, because the flavor profiles are they're so bright and beautiful.
Thank you. And I think you've picked a great kind of beginner's tasting of all of the different goat cheeses that we have here today. The spreadable, it has that really clean, bright, kind of classic citrusy goat cheese flavor. Later we're going to try the garlic and chive, which really has that beautiful herbaceousness. And then the honey is sweet, that balances out a lot of the goat. And the creamy brie is something completely different entirely. So looking forward to tasting through them. And one of the great things about the spreadable is how versatile it is. I mean, you can really enjoy it savory or sweet. So I've got it on a pepper here, and Erin's got it on a cracker. And, you guys definitely play with what you have on your board. Part of the fun and adventure of building a cheese board for dinner or for any other occasion is to try out new tastes and new pairings and different things. So we'd love to hear what you guys are pairing things with. If you want to tell us in the chat, and we'll take a little.
Definitely. Yeah. I've got some of the mini peppers here, which are really beautiful and colorful, the mini sweet peppers. And then I got some rainbow carrots, which are always fun. And then we also have strawberries and raspberries, and a little bit of truffle honey, which I'm very excited about trying later on. But
I'm just having a bite right now.
But yeah, I mean, this consistency of the spreadable goat, it's very good for dips and very good for cooking. I was actually thinking earlier today, like these would make the goat would make a great jalapeno popper. I think that would be really, really tasty. And I also think it would be good as a cheesecake base.
Oh yeah, it makes a wonderful goat cheesecake.
Mhm.
Or you can use it as the base for a fruit galette underneath all
Oh.
your fruit. And as
Mhm.
we're getting into summertime and the good fruits here, it's wonderful, just lightly sweet with a little bit of, drizzle a little bit of honey and stir it. And just like that, that's all you need.
Mhm.
And it's got that great, it's nice and it's moist. So, like it says, it's spreadable. So you can just slather it over, a crust or a pepper or a cracker, anything. And it's so easy.
Yeah, and not only just for dinner, but also for breakfast. I mean, this would be perfect on a bagel. It's also great with fruit, like you put a little sugar in it or something, and then used instead of whipped cream. I think it. I mean, really, it's just up to your imagination of what to do with it.
It's like a creme fraiche, but 40%, believe it or not, fewer calories. So
Hey, we like that.
Definitely. And part of what makes it so mild is the kind of the care that we put into raising the goats. A lot of times that really barnyard taste can come from, part of it's how you treat the cheese as it's, aging or as it's, processing, but part of it's also how you treat your animals that give it that, acidic taste. And ours is nice and mild and fresh because our goats are happy. And
yeah.
Laura wasn't a herder originally, but
No, but it started out as I mentioned, kind of a hobby, and then it grew. And I mean, she had names for her goats, and I mean, they were her family. And then the family grew to, I think it was 500 towards the end
500 goats.
when
Oh,
she
wow.
retired. and she ended up moving to Sonoma, and I do remember the goats were up on the hill off of Route 121 back then. We'll talk about the building we're in now, but before she was in an old creamery building, and the goats were on the hill right behind
there
it.
next to it. You could go out and pet the goats on your lunch break, and we're still finding photos and things with goat names scribbled on them.
And if there was a baby that was sick, they would bring him into the office and bottle feed
them while they're answering the phone.
Oh, that's too sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, I just wanted to take a moment. Also, as we're going along and doing these tastings, we did include a little worksheet in here, as we always do, with all the cheeses listed, and then all the accompaniments too. So you can check off like which ones you liked with it, and the what you smelled, what you tasted, if you liked it, if you didn't like it. So yeah, and then of course all of our information's at the bottom too. Again, if you have questions later on. But yeah, so and then we also have the Formaticum cheese log in there. So you can keep all the information about all the cheeses you try as you go along in life. It's a nifty little way to keep track of things.
And I'd just like to say, that's a really fun way when I started in the business, just to learn. And I kept my diary and, those cheese logs, which I believe are with the kids.
I know,
right?
Erin just got me the queen mother of cheese logs for my birthday earlier.
Where you can take the label off and make a scrapbook.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Jeez.
But, with cheese tasting, not too different from wine tasting when you're doing
not at
pairings.
all.
So you're
Yeah.
going to, do the see, smell, and taste sort of routine. And you're going to look at it, and then you're going to have the aroma, and then you're going to taste it, and what's the texture and the mouthfeel, and then what's the finish like. And then you do that solo, and then you start pairing, with sweet or savory or whatever your choice is. And then you'll notice the differences.
Yeah.
Very, very similar to educating your palate with wine tasting.
That's definitely, yeah.
So as you can see, we don't have any goats with us today. These days, the magic happens at a few different farms locally. So we have farmers who are out in California, Oregon, Nevada, and Idaho, but we keep it pretty close because we don't want the milk to travel very far. It helps reduce our carbon footprint. And, it also helps us to keep a better eye on our farmers and make sure that they're,
Yeah, and we actually have a gal that works for us, Adriana, who was with, she was actually the goat herder working for Laura Chenel way back. And
caring for those 500 goats.
yeah, and she's still with us now. So we have a dedicated person that focuses on our partnership with the goat farmers. And back to Maddy's point, the cheese is the way it is because of the milk and the care. And everything starts with that. So there's this fabulous partnership we have with the farmers where they're totally independent. However, we have agreements with them where we'll purchase their milk. So they know that they have a viable future or a source for it.
And even throughout this last year, COVID was tough for everyone, but we kept buying all of their milk throughout all of it. So it's important to us to, support them, to help them grow so that they can really focus on continuing to raise happy goats and, keeping high quality standards and, doing the best farming that they can, letting them focus on that and letting us just be, supportive as much as we can.
Yeah, that's why I always encourage my customers to buy local, buy as close as you can, simply because, again, you're supporting your local economy, but also you can source where the milk came from. And I think that's really important to be able to source where your food comes from. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's so important to us. We keep it pretty small. We've got a network of 11 family farms that we work with, and they are all family run. Like Erin said, they're very independent, and they all raise, different types of goats. There's the number one type of milk goat, which is the Saanen. It's what you see on our packaging. It's these cute little white goats with the little ears and the big bellies. Those are the best milking goats, but we've actually got 6 types of goats, and we let them choose, what works for them and their terrain and scale. And goats are also a very sustainable animal.
Yeah,
absolutely. And the footprint is so small when you think about it, because they're all located geographically on the west side of the country, and the milk comes straight from the farms here daily. So it's not being stored or shipped, terribly long distance. It's really the farm to creamery journey that's quite short, and then the cheese is made immediately. So that's important, I think, for people to know about the sustainability.
Most definitely. Yeah,
I'm
and always telling people about that.
Yeah, where we are here too is definitely sustainable, but we'll get into that in a little bit. I'm hungry for cheese.
Yeah, well, yeah, totally. No,
let's eat some more cheese.
Yeah, we're gonna try the Brie next, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm gonna.
So I was commenting earlier because I cut a wedge out of my Brie, which is like it's perfect right now.
There you go.
If you can see my squishy Brie there, which is just really, it's just fantastic.
Yeah, look at this.
I tried, yeah, exactly. So I tried to set it on top of the wheel here, and it just kind of like did this like squishy cartwheel all the way down. So anyway, it's just I'm looking forward to trying this.
Yes, we call this our creamy Brie for a reason. It really is creamy. It gets this beautiful, gooey center, and it smells so good. It's made out of our same curd as our spreadable. It just goes through a very different process. So this one we age. A while back, 2011, Laura Chenel did retire with her herd of goats. And at that time, she decided to sell the company to a family of cheesemakers in France who, she had met in her travels, whose cheeses she loved. And it was important to her that she continue to have her legacy honored by a family-run business, right? And people who really knew how to make great cheese. So the business was sold to the Rion Group at that time. And then we landed here at our beautiful Sonoma Creamery. And we moved over from the littler
The little
creamery, which had, the goats right in the backyard. And we built a beautiful creamery here in Sonoma. It's LEED Gold certified for sustainability. And it was the first creamery.
Yeah.
In the United States to
Yeah.
receive that certification.
And if anyone understands that level and what it takes to get a gold standard of a LEED, LEED certified building, particularly commercially, it takes a lot of thought about the utilities and the solar panels and the water repurposing. It goes on and on and on. Very, very high standards to get that designation. So we're very proud of that. And not only is it, works fabulously to make cheese and look after the environment, but it's just a beautiful building as well.
Yeah, there's tons of, the walls are all made from recycled and reclaimed redwoods, and there's tons of natural light. So what you see behind me is my view from the office every day.
That's really wonderful.
Yeah, more than 1,000 solar panels on the roof provide all of the most of the energy for the creamery, about 80% of it.
Yeah,
so.
way down. I have to figure out what I want to pair this
I know.
with.
What do we want to eat our Brie with? I think I'm going to put
I have to say, I love this Brie because, the paste is it's such a beautiful color. It's so snowy white, and it's really buttery, but it's not overly salty, which is it's very flavorful. And I would also say the rind on it is very delicate. For those of you who are not into rind, try this one because it doesn't overpower the cheese. Sometimes rinds tend to overpower the paste of the cheese. And so I do recommend, eating some cheeses without rind, even if the rinds are edible. But this one, they complement each other very, very nicely.
Thank you. And there's a lot of beautiful earthy flavor in the rind. Unlike, like you said, each cheese is unique, right? It's a beautiful, unique aging process always. And ours, we do have a nice thin rind on ours, so it's not chewy like you'll find a lot of times. It's just very delicate, and it doesn't overpower the creaminess at all.
And I would continue to say, the kindergarten first step of trying a rind on a cheese. If you haven't before, this is the one to do it.
Yeah, it's like first grade,
Try
this incredible goat. First grade is the Brie with the rind on it.
Yeah.
Also, this one would be lovely with the Davina fig jam that we have. Another accompaniment that I brought along was Davina also makes a chili fig spread, which is not included in the kit, but we do sell it at Mollie Stone's. Because I noticed you had I think you had a hot raspberry jam, which I don't think we carried at the store, but so I decided to complement mine with a hot chili fig spread.
Oh my goodness. I put mine on an oat cake with a drizzle of truffle honey.
Oh boy.
And that is just heaven in a bite.
And I did the Davina spread with it. Lovely.
Nice. Yeah. The truffle honey was another extra accompaniment that we put on our dinner board. We also sell this in the cheese department at Mollie Stone's. It's an Italian truffle honey that comes in a little jar like this. You'll see it at the front of my counter. We all have it. It's when you open up the jar, it is so aromatic. It's so beautiful. Very, very tasty stuff.
Yes, because the Brie is already so earthy and beautiful and just that little bit kind of citrusy and fresh, it really complements the earthiness of the truffles, and the sweetness just takes it to a different place. And same for the oat cake. It's crunchy and a little bit sweet. It's really good with the Brie. So as far as the Brie goes, I mean, of course, this is wonderful as its own, just cut on a cheese board. If you were feeling extra, and my motto in life is always be extra.
Yes.
You could even take one of these little babies and you could top them with something like the Divina fig spread or the spicy version, and you could wrap them in puff pastry and bake them in the oven.
That is always, baked brie is always a good idea. And this really does make a perfect little package of a baked brie.
Yes, it's just the right size for, two or three for a dinner. Something a little nicer, maybe for a Mother's Day treat, as we're getting into that.
A Mother's Day treat. Yeah.
And it's, this won the Good Food Award, right? And it comes in a nice little wooden cup. So it's just a beautiful gift as well for your cheese-loving friends.
Yes. And we were so excited when we won that Good Food Award this year. It's again a reflection of, the sustainability and care that we put into making this cheese. And the fact that it tastes good. So we think so. Hopefully you agree.
Yeah, I just tried your combination, Maddy. That is wonderful.
Right.
Can't go wrong. Okay, well, now that we've had something really fresh and then something really indulgent, let's go back into fresh world and let's try this garlic and chive log, which is one of my personal favorites.
And I have to chime in, mine too. It is, it's just a wonderful balance. It has just enough of the herbaceousness to it. But when you hear, garlic and chive, you think, oh my God, that's, going to be
strong,
too strong.
Or stinky or punchy, but it's actually really not delicate.
It's almost even a little sweet in a sense. Not sweet like the honey, but just the herbs. It just gives it such a nice, clean flavor.
Yes, and this is another one. I mean, because of the garlic and chive, it does tend more savory. But this is wonderful with something like the Zoe's prosciutto that we have with us. Fresh veggies, you can just use the log to, scoop and dollop right on your veggies, or you can take it and you can roll it in fresh herbs, like you were talking about a little bit earlier, and do slices, and you could do those on top of a salad for a little kick of freshness. And this
as an ingredient too. I mean, my husband makes killer scrambled eggs. He's English, so he makes them the English way, and it kind of stirs them. It's not
does it on low heat.
I mean, they're just like, oh, and putting this garlic and chive in it just puts it over the top. So yummy. Elevated breakfast, we call it.
Elevated breakfast.
Yes. No, it's really, really nice. I mean, also, it's really is soft enough where you could dip vegetables in it, I think.
Yeah, the logs are a great texture. They're more firm than the spreadable that you guys tasted earlier. Yeah. And then we have one more cheese that comes in kind of a little pillow format that's in between these guys in terms of moisture. But the log is a little bit more firm, but it's still gentle enough that you can easily break it apart. You can crumble it over a salad, or like I said, slice it. And I mean, the usage occasions are almost endless. You can put it in, on bread or crackers. You can put it on a roll, crudité, or, sliced. It's wonderful on top of a sandwich as well.
I was just going to say a sandwich spread. It's perfect. So easy. It's so flavorful.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to keep it out of the fridge a little bit longer so it softens up, I mean, it really has the right moisture level where you actually could use it, as a spread. A thick one, but still.
Yeah. Oh, still. No, I mean, that's another thing. The textures of these cheeses, they're all different from each other, but they're all really lovely. They're all very nice and very distinct.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is also, it's friends with all kinds of great dinner time beverages, shall we say, if you like to, if you're looking for something to enjoy as you imbibe. I mean, put it next to this cocktail snack mix again with a little crudité. And I mean, if you like wine, it's wonderful with a white wine. Goat cheese and white wine are old friends. That little hint of acidity does wonderful things for the tanginess and citrusiness of the goat cheese, or
beer that has the citrusy notes, a craft beer. I mean, there's just so many of them out there now. You can just
Oh yeah, there's so
take
many
your
to choose
pick.
from.
But it's a nice compliment. with
something light.
Yeah.
And if you're really looking to party, goat cheese and gin are also
Oh,
a
yeah.
great
Ooh,
combo.
I've never had that. Oh, but that does sound like a nice gin and tonic with, oh my gosh, I think that would be, oh, I'm gonna try that.
Chelsea's.
I do have a couple that I pulled today just to have on display that I really like, that I think pair really well with these. One is the La Marca Prosecco, which is my favorite Prosecco. It is my go-to Prosecco. I love this Prosecco because it's got this really peachy, beautiful floral flavor to it. We carry it at all Mollie Stones. Really and great, especially with it starting to warm up, great for the summer months. And then the second one is the Trasini Sauvignon Blanc, which we actually have on sale this week for only $10.99. Usually it's $18.99. So this is a really good deal. Really beautiful Sauvignon Blanc. I actually tried it a couple weeks ago and I was very impressed with it. And the price, again, it's phenomenal. Really bright. It's not too heavy, not too dry. It's just very well balanced.
Yeah, absolutely. And Sauvignon Blanc goes with
It does.
so many different cheeses.
Yeah.
So neutral and fresh and light. There's a million great pairings for that.
Yeah, and Sauvignon Blanc to me is it's not just the New Zealand profile anymore. I mean, here locally in Sonoma County, there are just so many wonderful ones that are the full spectrum. So good for experimenting.
It is.
Yes, up here in the North Bay, we're lucky to have access to so many wonderful local wines. We're backed right up to Domaine Carneros here.
Oh, nice.
We love.
Perfect.
But there are, so many beautiful ones. As we get into our next cheese, Erin and I are going to go ahead and pop a bottle of sparkling wine too from our local favorite, Gloria Ferre.
Oh, very good.
Which happens to be about a mile away.
Yeah. I've been there a couple times. Actually, I worked with a caterer who catered events there. So I've been there multiple times as caterer.
Yeah, it overlooks our creamery very nicely once you're up on the hill.
I know, it's got a beautiful view.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'm going to leave this to Erin.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
I'm going to go off camera.
Okay.
When you hear the bang, it's just the wine.
Yeah.
So we're going to be moving into something a little bit sweet here, which is our honey log.
Yes.
Yum.
I think this one is the most popular one for us. People are just crazy about this honey goat log.
Yes, it's really unique. And again, it's kind of a local love cheese for us. We use a local producer for our honey called Z Specialty, and they're just right out here There we go.
Success.
Yeah, right out here in our backyard, and we've been using their honey for many years, and it's an orange blossom honey. So it's a little different than the, classic clover honey that you're used to getting out here. The bees, feast on the nectar from orange blossoms, and it gives the honey this really beautiful, gently citrus, aromatic, floral taste that I feel really comes across in the goat cheese. And definitely for all of your friends who say they don't like goat cheese, it's too goaty, this is the one to reach for, because the sweetness of that honey does such a beautiful job neutralizing even our mild goat flavor, and it just becomes really this creamy, sweet treat of a cheese.
The kids just love it.
Yes, this one is super family friendly. I like to call this like a beginner cheese lovers cheese, and then there are more like advanced cheese lovers cheese.
Yeah.
Um,
So we have the local strawberries. I don't know if they can see them.
yeah, let's
on
go
the-
ahead and let's show you our strawberries
So
here.
if you know Sonoma and you know that the season has begun when the Watma, which is named after Watma Road, strawberry patch opens up, and then social media just blows up. Everybody is like, Watma is open, open. And it did open recently, so I couldn't resist. I had to make my pilgrimage down there, and these strawberries are just fabulous with the honey goat log
Yes, and
and the Effie's crackers. I think that's what I
Yeah.
meant.
and the
Oh,
oat cakes. We love those oat cakes
Yes.
here.
The oat cakes are phenomenal.
Give you a little pan because I realized we
Yeah.
never
Yeah.
got our
look at
cheese
your
board
board.
here today.
Oh, look at that.
All kinds of deliciousness here. We've, like we said, added a few things to the kit
Yeah.
to make it a little bit more of a dinner event here. So we've got our
All the
fruits and
food groups.
veggies accounted for. We've got those beautiful Watmog strawberries that are so red and ripe right now. And we're just getting into strawberry season, which is,
Yes.
one of the most wonderful times of the year.
Yeah, strawberry and berry season. Once that pops up, we have huge displays of all the Molly Stones, and the berries are just phenomenal every summer.
Yeah, definitely. And we got lucky. It started early this year. And
Yeah.
we were worried because there wasn't too much rain, but it ended up
Right.
being, they're sweet and ripe and beautiful. And, we got some early raspberries as well
Mhm.
here to go with
Yep,
our
I
oat
got some
cakes.
too.
And that beautiful orange blossom honey log. We've got a little bit of that spicy jam that we were talking about. Again, ours is a sweet heat one. It's a
Right.
habanero raspberry, but your spicy fig one sounds pretty amazing as
Yeah,
well.
it is really tasty, and it's got a kick too. Like it's
Yeah.
not a mild one. So
Perfect
it'll pack a little punch for you.
And when you have something really neutral like the spreadable or the creamy brie, they play well with others. So you can really put just about anything with them and you're going to have a good time.
Yeah.
So I had fun shopping at Molly Stone's today, and went to the veggie counter.
Little veggie counter. Ooh,
Got some wonderful little carrots and
peas.
yeah, little
All the
peppers.
little fresh peas. And then, of course, that beautiful prosciutto,
Can you see that?
all accounted for. And then,
I just had a raspberry on top of the honey goat with the Effie's oat cake. Really, really good. And I have to say, I just got these raspberries at just at the store this morning. They're really good. So if you're into raspberries, I highly recommend going to your local Molly Stones and picking up some this week because they're really good. Really, really good.
when
Very
Erin pulled
juicy.
these out of her bag, my
Yeah.
jaw dropped. I couldn't believe how big and ripe they are right
Yeah.
now, early in the season. Yeah, the honey one is.
I have to do an Effie's.
Mm-hmm.
cake. That's my.
Well,
Love that.
and I love this. I've always loved this concept of a dinner board, and I don't know, if our participants have really thought of this. I think, a lot of people, of course, you think of an appetizer, something pre-dinner, or even a picnic, cheese board, something like that. But to do it as a dinner board, I love that concept. Sometimes I'll just do it for myself. Like if my husband's out of town, I'll treat myself to like a couple nice little cheeses and then little bits of this and that. And that's what it's so great, especially if you want to have multiple things for dinner instead of just like, a basic like, a protein and vegetable and starch. This is a really great way to get just like a little bit of everything and just have it be fun. And, you can dress it up for yourself, or if it's just you and a few people, it makes dinner a lot of fun, I think. And then also you get to try different stuff as well and pairing it with different things too. It's a great way to mix and match different items on your board.
Yeah, absolutely. It comes back to that sense of delicious food adventure,
Mhm.
right? And the opportunity to try something new.
I don't know. Put me in my happy place today. Very excited. I mean, how can you not be? Look at this beautiful spread in front of us. And it's just so easy. You know, you work hard all day and you don't want to be coming home and cooking. And to me, this is just fabulous
Yes.
option.
Yeah, it is. It is actually very simple if you think about it. I mean, none of this stuff had to be cooked. It would just had to be taken out of its packaging and set on a board. And again, it doesn't even have to be like a super Instagrammable board or anything like that. You can just be really simple about it and just, line things up, accordingly. And because it's so delicious, and the pairing and the tasting things and mixing and matching and all of that. I think that I'm always thinking about, food as an experience, just because I think it's more fulfilling that way. One, to know what is going into your body, and also to enjoy it as well.
Absolutely. And so much of good food is, it's pleasure, right?
Yes.
Does it give you a sensory experience? Does it look good?
Oh,
Does it taste good? Does it smell good?
Mhm.
And I think, cheese boards do. They give you so many different sensory experiences in one easy setup. And
so we have a question.
Uh-oh.
ooh,
Yes, this is from Deborah. She says hello, and she would like to know. She would like to know if Laura Chenel makes any other goat milk products, such as ice cream or caramels or anything at all other than just cheese.
so we don't make ice cream or caramel, but we do make a beautiful and really delicious goat's milk yogurt.
Ooh.
And it again is super mild. It's great for people who are, allergic to traditional cow's milk products.
Mhm.
Goat cheese is really nice because it's super easy to digest. It's actually almost the same protein structure as mother's milk. So our bodies are naturally very, prepared for eating this food. And it's higher in A2 protein, which is really trendy right now. People are realizing that versus that type A1 protein that's really common in
Cow's
the
milk.
most common
Whole
cows,
cow.
which are the Holstein cows, the black and
Mhm.
white cows. A2 protein is actually much easier for people to digest. So a lot of people who think they can't eat cheese can still eat goat cheese pretty comfortably.
Mhm.
And it's the same thing for our goat's milk yogurt.
And we have a couple flavors. We have the vanilla.
Yeah, we have a plain and then we have a vanilla flavor as well. And the vanilla just won an award at the American Cheese Society a
Oh,
couple of years
nice.
ago. And it's really delicious. It's clean, it's mild, and there's something just so interesting about the goat's milk as a base for it that takes it to a completely different place.
Than's for asking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you for that question. Do we have any other questions out there? Anybody? You can type them in the Q&A box. We're open. Yeah, we've got about 10 minutes left. So any questions that pop into your head, please ask away.
I'd love to hear if anyone has favorite pairings.
From what we
To
tried
share-
today.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
share.
true. Yeah, let us know your favorite pairings. Everybody's shy. I'm not getting anything yet.
Don't be shy.
Yeah, don't be shy.
Well, while we wait for you guys to furiously type in your
Yeah.
favorite pairings from today, I'll tell you a little bit more about this tasty honey goat cheese. So, because it's so sweet, like I said, it really takes out the tang of a goat cheese and it just becomes this really sweet, creamy flavor. So, Kelly says her favorite pairing is creamy brie and dry rosé.
Oh, nice.
That
And
sounds like a party.
Here's the.
Oh yeah, here's
Yeah.
what
The label.
our little orange blossom honey logs look like. They're orange, so you can tell which one it is. And this one is so sweet and mild. You can use it as a sub for whipped cream or cream cheese in desserts.
Definitely, yeah.
This is another one that's wonderful as the base for a galette or a cheesecake or really anything that you would use cream cheese for in a dessert
Mhm.
application, you could use one of the logs. They have similar moisture content, depending on what type of healthy you're looking for. It's usually healthier. And it tastes really good.
It does taste really good. I mean, seriously, it does. I mean, with as mild as the goat cheese is, the honey, I mean, it cuts into the tanginess, I guess you would say, of any of the goatiness that you get from it. And it, again, very, very pleasant. Again, wonderful texture. Again, really amazing with those raspberries and the Effie's oatcakes. I really enjoyed that combination.
Yeah, a little bit tangy. And again, that really subtle kind of floral orange flavor from the log really brings out other fruits. This is also great, again, if you're looking for other quick and easy, dinner or dessert ideas. This is awesome if you spread it and just like slather it on French
Oh,
toast.
yes. Oh,
Yeah.
Just like
Mm.
pile it on a French toast in place of syrup and just go to town. It's so
Nice.
good. You could
Yeah.
sprinkle a couple fresh berries on it. My guilty pleasure is I like to sandwich it between 2 oatmeal cookies
Ooh.
and or I guess you could use oat cakes in this case. Just
Yeah,
take
there you go.
a big chunk and sandwich it between 2 oat
Mhm.
cakes and have a little dessert bite. Or if you want it to play a little bit more kind of tangy and savory, you can also crumble it for a healthier dinner take over some cubed avocado and mango
Oh,
for a
wow.
really light, fresh salad.
Yeah,
That's
I love
nice.
That
We
recipe.
got Felice who said tacos with goat cheese.
Oh, yeah, we have
Yeah.
some awesome goat cheeses for tacos.
Taco Tuesdays. My
Yeah.
favorite.
And then we've got another question from Nancy, who is Deborah's friend. She's enjoying alongside her. Fantastic. I'm glad you two are enjoying together. Do you have cheese tasting classes or other events at your facility in Sonoma, post-COVID, of course?
No, we don't right now at our Sonoma Creamery, but our cheeses are included pretty often at tastings at our sister creamery, Marin French Cheese, out in Petaluma, which makes a beautiful day trip if you guys are ever up in the North Bay. They carry most of our cheeses, and in non-COVID times, they'll do
Yeah.
samplings at the cheese counter as well, so you can try some new and different things. And
There's a little cafe there that
Yeah.
so
Does
if you're
recipes.
out in Marin County, west of Petaluma, on the way out to Point Reyes from Petaluma, it's a facility that, what is it, 150
over
some,
150 years
Yeah,
old.
it's
something
the
like
oldest
that, yeah.
creamery in the country.
Yeah, my
but-
mom was telling me that back in the day, she loved to go there all the time. I was like, oh, yeah. But yeah, it's
It's
a
a
great
fun day
little place to go. I love it out there. It's perfect for a picnic. It really is.
So you can buy the Laura Chenel cheese there, and you kind of
You do get a
get a
tasting
little bit of
experience
a
and
taste.
education
Yeah.
that way. And
Yeah.
of course, we have cheesemongers, but honestly, Chelsea is a great resource too. If you guys
I
head over to
am.
Mollie Stone's, I'm
Thank you.
sure she would be happy to tell you guys about any different
Thank
pairing
you.
ideas or tasting notes. And
Thank you for the kudos. I appreciate that. We have another combination. Let's see. Deborah says she likes using the original log and spreadable for baking. And she says it's brilliant in an apple pear cake or galette. She can't wait for stone fruit season. I love stone fruit season. I think that's my favorite fruit season.
Yes, absolutely. And, especially once you cook that fruit and just really concentrate the
With the
sugar in it.
plums.
I
Oh,
love
yeah.
a grilled peach.
Yes.
Just heaped high with this orange blossom honey
Oh,
goat
yeah,
cheese
that's a good one.
is so good in the summertime. It's indulgent, but you still feel good about yourself because you're getting your protein, you're getting your fruit, right?
Yeah.
That's
It's an
that's
awesome
yeah.
option. Great idea, Deborah.
Yeah.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. Oh, wonderful. Yay.
And there's, it was originally a farmer's market product, right? So
Mhm.
we always like to say what grows together goes together. So if
Mhm.
you're looking at, beautiful local produce. And if you're at a Mollie Stone's event, we're guessing you're from around here, go out and find your favorites in the produce aisle and try it out, because it's, if you get something that's fresh and locally grown and you pair it with a cheese that's fresh and locally raised, you're going to have a good time.
Yes, you're going to have a very good time. It's going to be an excellent time. And again, we have, not only do we have wonderful cheesemongers, but we also have wonderful produce managers. So if you're looking for something, or if you want, you don't know if something's ripe or not, ask a produce manager or ask a produce clerk, because they're really good at doing that. I do that. I have a produce manager, produce clerks pick out produce for me all the time. And it's something that, that we do offer. I mean, please, ask. All you have to do is ask, and we will totally help you out.
I've done that too at your stores, and everyone has been so helpful.
Yeah.
They always make my picnics perfect.
Good. Yay. Well, we've got a few minutes left. It's been so much fun. Is there anything that you have coming up at Laura Chenel, or anything that you wanted to plug at all?
Let's see. Well, there's always something new happening at Laura Chenel. We have a couple new products on the way we're not quite ready to talk about, but look forward to good news coming soon from us over here. We've been busy bees.
Okay. We'll keep our eyes and ears open for all of that. Yeah.
To the ground. And if you want to learn more about, what we're doing here, about our cheeses, please feel free to follow us on social media, or check out our website. We're at laurachenel.com. Just check your Brie.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great website, and a lot of recipes and suggestions in addition to what we've talked about today. And we'll certainly post, as soon as things start opening up some more, we'll be back out there more than we are now, for sure. In the Sonoma community.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. It was wonderful talking to you and sharing all of this with each other. I've had so much fun. This was a great collaboration. So again, thank you.
Cheers to you. Yes. Thank you.
Thanks everyone for joining us today. And thank you
for next time, for our participants next month. I'm very, very excited about this, because this is going to be a new class. Yes, I said class. It's going to be part of an educational series that I have developed. It's Cheese 101 Basic Tasting. And so it's going to be a little different from what we've done in the past, where you are going to learn things. I'm going to get a little technical. We're totally going to nerd out with this one. You're going to get to taste a whole array of cheeses, and there'll be accompaniments with them too, but we're going to learn some technical stuff with it. And then I'm also going to break down a cheese board for you. So when you, because I get a lot of questions about how much should I serve, and what should I serve, and what should the amounts be, what should I pair with it? So I'm going to break things down simply, so when you go and you're shopping for these things, that you're prepared with that knowledge. And this is to help develop your palate, and also help you when you're shopping in the cheese departments. So be on the lookout for that. That is going to be May 27th. Again, very, very excited about this one. It's going to be part of an educational series that we are going to have throughout the year. I'm hoping to have at least 3 to 4 classes that will repeat. So you can have the knowledge that I have learned over all the years of being here and working at Mollie Stone's. And again, if you have any questions that weren't answered today, it doesn't look like anybody else has any questions right now. You can always email me at chelsea@molliestones.com. And even if you have questions for Erin and Maddy, I can relay those questions as well. So again, thank you so much, Erin, Maddy. It was lovely having you. And thank you to everybody who joined us today. I hope to see you next month. And everybody have a lovely weekend. Bye.
Thank you. You too. Bye, everyone.
Bye.